Welcome back to the Free Spirit Tarot. I am Poetry. You are here for your full moon reading for the month of October. The full moon can be seen on October 6th at 11:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This full moon is pretty special because it encompasses so many different variations of what this type of moon actually is. Like I said, we know for a fact that it's indeed a full moon. We've talked about this before. We want the full moon to be a time for us to celebrate our achievements, to let go of things that we no longer need. Um, and that's basically what this card here is showing us. I've already laid out a spread for one of my decks, and I have two more other Moonology decks that I'm going to bring out and just get some more, insight or some more guidance or what have you, or just some more aspirations that we need to take into this season with us. But it says that this is a time of completion, celebration, release, and harvest. So you want to pretty much do that every full moon. But like I said, for example, this particular one is really special because not only is it just a regular full moon, it is also the hunter's moon, which is why I have that kind of center. And the hunter's moon, it calls for us to start gathering up things for the winter. We're storing up things for winter. We're going out hunting for things that we need. So we're actually taking a look at the harvest that we collected last month during the corn harvest. And then we're going to see exactly what else do we still need to survive, to make it through, to push through to our next agenda. And that's what the hunter's moon really is all about, right? But because this hunter moon lies close to the fall equinox, is also considered to be a harvest moon. So we are still harvesting. We're still in the moment of fulfillment. And this says where our efforts culminate in abundance. So we look at all the things that we have harvested in abundance. We reflect on whatever journey that we took to get here throughout this year. We express that gratitude. We got Thanksgiving coming up next month. That's really the season of gratitude. We express the gratitude for all the rewards that we've earned. But again, we take assessment of what we do have, and then we go hunt for things that we don't have to add to our pot to carry us through. Now, with this also being um, a supermoon, there's like 3 supermoons that's supposed to happen in the year 2025. This is the very first supermoon that we're having this year. This is where the energy tells us that we're going to amplify everything that we're doing for the rest of this year. We're going to propel it through and make our actions feel very powerful. We're going to have some bold manifestations, which we're going to try to achieve. And being this is the full moon in Aries, it's telling us to harness our confidence. That's what we're going to be bold in. We're going to be bold in our confidence. Some people may call it arrogance. Some people may call it cockiness. We're calling it being bold in our confidence. And we're going to act decisively and achieve breakthroughs like we never have before. That's what we're going to get out of this October full super hunters harvest moon. That's the full title of it, child. It is a full moon, but it's a super moon. So it's a full, boom, super moon, okay? And it's a hunter's moon, but it's still a hunter's harvest moon, okay? The hunters still have to harvest and see what exactly they all need. We don't need to just be out here all shopping around willy-nilly. So I'm going to go through a few tarot cards. I'm going to go through a few moon cards. And then we're going to see what else we can pile upon the purpose of our full moon this month. So, like I said, we're out here harvesting. We taking stock of everything we got. We're saying, this is no good for us. This is good for us. Have you, it's this video. I don't know if it's going around on YouTube or IG. I don't remember what it was. It's talking about cucumber seeds. How you could take a cucumber directly out of the store. You could fill up a jar of water and then drop your seeds into the water, right? Swirl it around, swirly. Let it do its thing for a little bit. And then you'll see some seeds float to the bottom or drop to the bottom, and some seeds will stay floating on top. The seeds that stay floating on the top are essentially no good. I still say that you can plant them, but you're not just going to produce the best harvest. Okay. So you want the ones that have floated, because the ones that have floated or sunk to the bottom have weight. Okay. They have the energy that we need to propel us towards powerful actions. Give us the best harvest possible in the next upcoming years. All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be planting more seeds because they do have a fall planting season. So that way we can have a new harvest pop up in the spring. So in addition to that, we're harvesting what we already have. We're checking the soil, seeing what else we could put down to grow for the next fall season. And we're going out there and hunting for what we want in the most powerful and confident way. Okay? Bam. So we're dealing with the planet of Pluto. Pluto is about transformation, rebirth, and power. And what do we just say? We need power. We need this supermoon to amplify our confidence for us. And that result is actually having power. So it says Pluto concerns us with how we as a generation deal with our generative powers and our capacity for radical change. So what we need to do, we need to ask ourselves, what contribution can transformation be for us? And I would like to also replace the contribution or the transformation, be like, what contribution can power be if we hold on and grasp on it to our own power? Okay. So next we're going to have just one more card come out, and we have Aquarius, right? It's unique, humanitarian, inventive, distant, stubborn, even a bit rebellious. Okay. And it's asking us, how can being unique serve my life and this world? What is the energy of being a humanitarian person? Okay. So we're taking our rewards, our confidence, and our decision to achieve great breakthroughs here. Okay. Maybe we need to break through by Aquarius season. Okay. You know, we need to be a little bit stubborn. Sometimes we could be a little bit too pliable, too malleable, um, with different people and ideas. We need to stick to our guns. That's pretty much what it's saying. We're being stubborn and rebellious in our way of thinking and sticking to our guns so that way we can reap the best harvest that we ever had could. We can hunt with what's the word I'm looking for? Strategy. Is that part of the word? Yeah. Hunt with strategic action, with skill, you know, not being thrown off our game at all. I'm going to go into our Moonology cards here, and then I'm going to round it out with a few tarot cards to see exactly what other things can we benefit from doing this October harvest hunting supermoon season. Like, what exactly do we need to see? Okay, what is this supermoon going to show us that we have been ignoring within ourselves? What powers can we pull out ourselves? Okay, we give it a time to give rather than to take. So once we have developed our harvest, is what this is telling me here, that this is a time for us to give. Instead of just trying to make sure that we keeping all the harvest for ourselves, look at what we have in stock. Look at what we have to offer people and share that. Give to others, okay? So that they can bless others as well. Then we have balanced spirituality and practicality. Okay. You want to be practical about some of the choices and decisions that you're making. Like I said, we're being very decisive. You want to be very practical about it. But we want to make sure we stay true to our own humanity. Make sure we stay true to ourselves, our belief in ourselves, our desire in ourselves, our desire that or why we are doing whatever it is we're doing, why we are trying to collect and gather what we are trying to collect and gather. Why are we letting go of certain things that no longer serve us? Why do those things no longer benefit my life, okay, or this world? Why do we want to stay distant or create distance in certain places? We have to ask ourselves those questions, okay? All right, so tarot wise, I'm using my like Halloween-ish type decks, and to be honest, I have never ever read with this deck before. Um, I really supported the creator when he was creating his Kickstarter campaign. And as he was creating it, I felt like I was in love with the images that was on them. But then once I got the deck, I realized the deck was kind of dark looking. But there's some great points in here where everything is just a light feeling. Some of the terminology of these cards have changed, and I'll try to make sure I familiarize you with what those are. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Where do I want to put? Let's scoot the moon cards up there. Scoot those down there. In the middle, we have the Six of Ashes. That is basically the Six of Wands. We have the Four of Wind. Four of Swords. And we have the Hermit card. Of course, the Hermit. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to read this as like, starting with the center card, the Four Winds. We have been thinking all year long about what it is we want to do, what it is we need to do. We felt that there has been a lot of forces come up against us, and that we have had to fight for everything that we wanted to achieve in life. All the dreams, all the harvest that we've had, we had to fight to hold on to it, to get it, to achieve it. But again, you want to still take the time right at this particular time to give rather than to take. Okay. But when you come up out of it, you see the Hermit has these antlers. And what I love the most about these antlers is how they match the hunter's moon and how that light is guiding them, how it's going to be so much brighter for you to see what your journey is going to be, to see your pathway that you need to travel in order to get to your final destination by the end of this year, taking us into that next harvest phase. Okay, again, this is the first supermoon that's coming. There's going to be a couple more that's going to illuminate and light our path, right? And then we're going to step into our own power. We're going to see what power we have within us that can create the change and the transformation that we need. Okay. Yeah, this six of ashes, Six of Wands here. She's standing with a lot of confidence. You see, others are bowing down at her because she's showing the strength that she's always had inside her. She's showing just how her presence is powerful. So people are leaning on her. People are counting on her. People are praising her. People um, are giving respect and gratitude to her. I don't want to say it as idol because I don't see it as that. I see them as being respectful of who this person is, and they're showing their gratitude and their thanks. This is why this is a time to give rather than to take. Okay, you can show by your leadership, all the things that you can achieve, all the things that you can accomplish. You know, and with that, it gives people a peace of mind. It gives people peace from the inside out. Your light starts to shine for everyone else to see. This harvest moon is going to show how much of a leader you can be. A leader just does not only, get in front of somebody and tell them what they need to do. They lead by example. Okay. And they share their wisdom and their knowledge with others. That's all part of the harvest. That's all part of the harvest. You reflect on those rewards that you have, and you express gratitude, but people will also express gratitude to you in the form of rewards. Like I said, but this is your time to step into that confidence. With the full moon being in Aries, stepping into that confidence in acting decisively, not just speaking it, but actually acting decisively, and you achieve such great breakthroughs. You'll achieve those breakthroughs. Like I said, this one is telling us about those regenerative powers that we probably haven't tapped into, and how those regenerative powers is going to show up as change. It's going to show us what capacity of radical change that we are able to handle. And by you being a standout, by you being unique, you know, do you know that deers with antlers usually shed them every year, and they transform by growing new antlers? It's painful sometimes. It's very painful sometimes. It's very painful to let go of things that you're so used to. But we're going to shed off those old antlers and grow some new ones in order to protect our peace, protect our space. And then that will allow us to benefit the world in a much greater capacity. Your humanitarian efforts are going to really shine through. And that's what I'm seeing here too. This is all about humanitarian efforts as well. It's not necessarily about material things that you're going to gather in your harvest. It's not about material things that you're going to necessarily hunt for. But it's about those good deeds that you can give to others, that you can share with others, especially during this time of year. Giving back is so prominent during this time of year. So people feel the most grateful between now and Christmas. Now and New Year's, really, people feel the most grateful, and they start to give back. They seek out homeless shelters. They seek out some type of endeavor event. You pick up or adopt a young sister or brother from the Big Brothers Big Sisters campaigns. You pick up an elder at a nursing home who just needs to spend time with somebody because their family is no longer around. There's a lot of ways in which you can harvest more good into your own life that's going to add to your regenerative powers. Like I said, everything is going to be amplified. Everything is going to be amplified. And we want them to be. We want them to be as bold and as loud as whatever affirmations, manifestations that you can have. You want them to be bold and loud, and you speak clearly about those. And then again, it's going to propel you towards powerful actions. There's power all over the board. There's power here. There's power here. There's power all over this board. Alrighty. So this is what I have for you for this October season for our full moon in Aries with our Hunter's Harvest super moon. That's what we got going on here, y'all. We're tapping into our own greatness and amplifying it to the maximum, to the nth power, so that we can be a shining and guiding light for others. And we can give so much of ourselves in such a humanitarian way that people start to give back to us in a sense of gratitude. We feel balanced, spiritually balanced. I feel like this is going to be a good harvest for you throughout the end of the year. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.